Hi everyone, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I am streaming to you live from the beautiful city of Budapest. I hope everybody is doing great. Hi Saeed, hi Pachu, good to see you in this class as well. Hi Ramandeep, and all others who have just joined in. All right, today we are doing a full IELTS listening exam. With answers, of course. We'll go through it together. The materials, this exam, it's coming from our websites. Check us out at aehelp.com for academic IELTS help and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS help. I always put the URLs up here so you can see that at any time during the video. You can also download our app. Search for Academic IELTS Help in your iTunes or Play Store, and you'll be able to get our app. You can also get our books from Amazon, AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General IELTS. And if you have questions, just send me an email, Adrian, that's my name, ADRIAN, at aehelp.com, aehelp.com. All right, students, live classes are according to Central European Time, CET. You can Google that to find out the time zone difference. Today, listening strategy and practice. Tomorrow will be a members chat only class. Of course, everybody can watch. So members, I saw there's a couple of you in here. First of all, thank you for being members. You're awesome. And secondly, please send me some requests. It's one of your member perks. You can request that class for whatever you find difficult for the IELTS, so I can schedule that. All right. Let's get into some listening. For that, I'm just going to jump over to my desktop and open up the listening. Give me a moment here. All right. If anybody has any questions about listening, now is a good time to ask while I get us to our appropriate page. And for the audio, you can use our website, of course, for our exams. There's audio not just for the listening, but also for the reading and speaking sections as well. So for those of you who have access to our full course, make sure to check that out. All right. And if some of you have done this listening before on your own or in another live class, don't worry about it. It's good to repeat materials and see where you made mistakes and see where you can improve. Hi, Parth. There's one of our members. All right. So here we go, ladies and gents. I will play the audio. We'll get right into it. Make sure this is our academic IELTS website. You can join by clicking that big red button. It's absolutely good to do that. You will save yourself time and money at the end of the day. And then you have a My Student account at the top. I'm using my microphone here, my in-ear microphone, and my Bose speaker to play this audio. So if the audio is quiet on your end, please use a headset or turn up the volume on your side. I'm maximum on my side. So this listening test 5 is CD5, track 1, for those of you that do have access to our websites. I'm going to get right into it, and we're going to do section 1 right away. Make sure that you write your answers on a piece of paper, not in the chat. Please do not write answers in the chat. We will go through the answers together after, so give everybody a fair chance to give their own answers, okay? So on a piece of paper, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
This recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings, and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to Section 1. Listening Section 1. You will hear a conversation between 2 people as one tries to return a defective product. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Good afternoon. I bought a product from your store 1 week ago, and I've been having difficulties getting it to work properly.
Of course, sir. Do you have the original receipt from the purchase? The first piece of information I need is the date you purchased the product.
Yes, I actually have it right here. I purchased it 8 days ago, on the 6th of July.
The 6th of July. Great.
The man says he purchased the item on July 6th, so this answer has been indicated for you. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good afternoon. I bought a product from your store 1 week ago, and I've been having difficulties getting it to work properly.
Of course, sir. Do you have the original receipt from the purchase? The first piece of information I need is the date you purchased the product.
Yes, I actually have it right here. I purchased it 8 days ago, on the 6th of July.
The 6th of July. Great. I also need the name of the product as indicated on the receipt.
Certainly. The receipt shows it as SOJO 232XD.
SOJO 232XD?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, yes. I see the product in my records now. It is a 23-inch computer monitor?
Yes, that's correct.
Now tell me, did you buy the extended warranty on the monitor?
No, I did not. I always feel like those warranties are a bit of a scam.
Perhaps, until you need the warranty?
Perhaps. But there must be some sort of manufacturer's warranty, right?
There may be. Let me check for you. Okay. Yes, it seems there is a manufacturer's warranty. The warranty is for 60 days, 2 months.
Great, then I shouldn't encounter any problems in returning it.
Well, actually, we only accept returns for a week after purchase. Since you purchased the computer monitor 8 days ago, you'll have to deal directly with the manufacturer.
How annoying. What steps must I take then?
Well, the company that makes the monitor has a depot in Birmingham. You must post it to them.
Okay. Do you have their address?
Yes, it's on Edgbaston Park Road and...
Hold on. You'll have to spell Edgbaston for me. I've never heard of it.
Of course. It is spelled EDGBASTON.
And then the rest of the address?
The address number is 89 and the unit number is 5.
Okay. So 89 Edgbaston Park Road, Unit 5.
That's right. And the postcode is B152RU.
B152RU?
That's right.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
Great, but one concern I have is the cost of posting something as large as a computer monitor.
Indeed. Such a product must weigh a few kilos and will certainly set you back some money to post. Let me see if the company takes such a problem into consideration.
Well, that would certainly be nice if they did.
Yes, it seems they do. They have a program in place where they pay postage for the exchange of goods under manufacturer warranty or product recall.
That's great news. What do I have to do to use this service?
It's fairly simple. You just call their Birmingham depot and request a prepaid postage voucher. Then you take the item to the post office along with the voucher, and the post office will take care of the rest.
Sounds simple enough. Do you have a phone number for the depot in Birmingham?
Yes, you can reach them on 0121 496 0633. Oh, and be sure to call during business hours. They're open from 10 in the morning until 6 in the evening.
10 until 6, understood. One final question. What would I have had to do to return the monitor if I had purchased the extended warranty from your store?
Well, the process would have been much simpler, sir. You could have simply brought it into the return desk at your local store. We would have given you your choice of a new monitor, your cash back, or store credit in the amount of 110% of the original cost of the item.
110% store credit? Wow, that seems too good to be true.
Well, company policy is that we want satisfied customers, and when they are not satisfied, we feel the need to compensate them for this in some small measure.
Perhaps next time I'll buy the extended warranty. How much would it have cost on the monitor I bought?
Only £20.
£20 would have been well worth it to save me the trouble of dealing directly with the manufacturer.
Well, now you know, sir.
Indeed I do. Thanks again.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right. So, students, that is a typical section 1. Now, at the beginning, when the instructions were going on, you probably noticed me doing something. What did I do during that 1 minute, actually more, 90-second instruction time? So what did I do in the very beginning when the instructions, this is copyrighted information by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. So all of that instruction time's going on. What did I do? Yeah, Eunice says, I looked through the questions, especially part 3 and 4. Yeah. I looked at the topic of section 2 and section 3 and section 4, especially section 3 and 4, and I got an idea of them. In section 4, I also focused on a specific part of the questions. Did anybody catch which part of section 4 did I focus on? Arcana, if you have one wrong answer from 2, if it's just one question, you get it wrong. If it's 2 questions, you get 1 wrong. Okay? All right. Timur, you said you did the same, but it didn't work out. What do you mean you did the same, but it didn't work out? Did the examiner stop you? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they say, hey, don't look at section 3 and 4. Stay with section 1. So what do you mean, Timur Alte? Why did it not work out for you? Tell me. I'm curious. Because there's no hard rule that you can't look at section 3 and 4. They just ask you to follow the instructions, and the instructions say turn to section 1. So Timur says, yep, they did not let me. Yeah, so you're one of the unlucky ones, Timur. When I talk to students, about 1 of 5 students say that the examiner said don't do that. The other 4 are like, it worked for me. So it's worth a try. They don't kick you out of the exam. Am I right, Timur? You didn't get kicked out of the exam. They just told you to go back to section 1. And that's fine. Okay, so take the risk. Try to take a look at section 3 and 4 if you can. I also looked at the last questions of section 4. So you probably realized that another interesting maneuver or kind of a trick that I did is I actually looked at these last few questions or last parts of section 4. So I realized that section 4 is about Michelangelo, the famous artist, painter, sculptor. So I saw the name here, Michelangelo. And then I looked a little bit carefully at the very end here, the literary works of Michelangelo. So I tried to read some of this information. That's because section 4, it's complete. You have no time to review the second half, and it's very difficult even to skim read all of the questions in section 4 in the practice time, or sorry, the review time. And you'll see that when we get to section 4. All right, students, so let's get back to section 1 and give some answers here. Here we go. So section 1, the example, what did the man, what day did the man buy the product? July 6th, that's given. What product did the man purchase? So what did this man buy? A, B, or C? Computer, computer monitor, or television? Okay, let's go through the answers. So B seems to be the popular answer. Good, Rekha. Good, Sevgi. Okay. All right. Yeah, it was a computer monitor. So B is the right answer. All right. Here, it is questions 2 and 3. So Arcana, if you're asking about this question, if you get one of the 2 correct, you get 1 mark. If you get both, you get 2. If you get neither, then you don't get any marks. So what 2 pieces of information are required to access the record of the purchase for this one? Okay. Okay, so that's clear now, right, Arcana? If you get 1 of 2 correct, you'll get 1 point. Okay, 1 raw score. All right, so Rekha says E and F. Purchase date, yeah, absolutely. F, the name of the product, yep, absolutely. That's what the woman's looking for. So purchase date and name of product, not the specific and not the specific name and the specific date. We don't need the serial number, just the purchase date and the name of the product. And you get that from this here because that's what the woman's doing. She's accessing the record, so she looks for the date, she looks for the name, and then she can get the information. So answers for 2 and 3 also come from the example and number 1. In section 1 and 2, don't just think about the audio, but you can really use the questions to help you get answers, okay? So if you miss an answer, don't panic, all right? I'm going to make a quick note of that for you. The previous strategy I've taught before, but this is kind of a new one for you. So keep this in mind, okay? If you miss an answer, in listening, don't panic. That's the worst, okay? Panicking in the listening section is really, really bad. Your mark can take a landslide, all right? So don't panic, all right? There are 2 steps to help you, okay? Number 1, use information from other questions to infer and to solve, okay? And number 2 is use your logic. Many of the answers can be revealed through logic. So you can figure out many answers from logic. Again, this is especially true for part 1 and part 2. So don't panic. Especially for part 1 and 2, okay? And you can do this in the time you have to transfer your answers to the answer sheet, okay? So you can do it then. All right, so keep that in mind. I'll show you how that works a little bit as we go through the answers, all right? So here, as I showed you, the example and this answer can be used to figure out this answer, that you need the purchase date and the name of the product. All right, so here's a fill in the form type question. So complete the notes below, write no more than 2 words and or a number. Warranty length is 60 days. The woman says that. The woman says, oh, the warranty length is 60 days. So this is how you know where you are in the audio, okay? When you see a form completion like this, then pay attention to this very first piece, because this gives you the location in the audio, okay? So this lets you know where the speaker is, right? So really pay attention to that first piece of information. That will help you. So the man is returning this defective monitor. It can be delivered to the depot location in Birmingham. What's the address? Okay. A lot of you, Rekha, Arcana, Apinav, and many others are saying it's 89 Edge Bastion. It's spelt for you, yes. So the answer is 89 Edge Bastion, one word. Edge Bastion Park Road. And this has to be capital. Okay, if it's a small e, it will be wrong. All right. You can write all capital as well. So it's Edge Bastion. Now, there's no E here, okay? So there's no E. It's not like the word edge. There's no E, and they spell it twice. If you put an E between the G and the B, you will get it wrong, okay? Small e, wrong. Extra E, wrong. Keep that in mind. All right, what's the postcode, students, for the next one, number 5? What is the postcode? B152RU, Shanzai, very nice. B152RU, great. You can make your ones clear by writing them like that. B's are clear, especially for postcodes when you use the capital letter, okay? The U also, make it very clear. Make your letters clear. If it's not clear, you will not get the mark, okay? If you have really ugly chicken scratch writing, I have that especially when I write quickly, then you have to really pay attention to make sure that in IELTS you're using your best penmanship so it's easy for the examiner to figure out what you're doing, all right? You cannot make it a guessing game, all right? Yeah, Maninderjeet, good, okay. So you had a little break to review the rest of the part 1, and then the audio continues. In order to get free delivery on product returns, the customer must telephone the depot and request a prepaid what? Okay, Mandeep, Arcana, Ramandeep. Very good. Harminder, you won't get it because it has to be postage, not posted. Okay? So it has to be correct word form. So it's postage, voucher. Okay? Again, make sure that your V's look like V's, not like U's. Okay? All capitals, yeah, it's okay. Just make sure you don't make spelling mistakes. So postage, voucher. What is the phone number of the depot? You don't have to worry about spaces or dashes. What is the phone number? Okay. Now, YouTube is hiding phone numbers, of course. So don't worry. I'll try to get a few of them to show up here. All right. So several of you are showing 0, 1. Hi, Naveen. 0121496. Let me just write that out. 0121496. I'm going to take the most popular one because I don't remember it off the top of my head, or I don't know it by heart. 0633. Okay. Looks right. Looks like it's the most popular answer among our students, so I'll take that one. And let's keep going with question 8, 9, 10. All right. So really practice listening to numbers and to days of the week, months of the year, because in the official IELTS, I pretty much guarantee that you will have to write months, days of the week, and phone numbers. So you really need to practice listening to these, okay? All right, a little bit more multiple choice here. For how many hours is the depot open each day? So how many hours is this depot open each day? 6 hours, 8 hours, or 10 hours? Okay, B. Let's say I didn't catch this. This was a little bit of a math question. It said from 10 till 6, right? That equals 8 hours. So you had to do a little bit of math there. But let's say that I don't catch that. Okay, let's say that I couldn't catch what was being said, or my brain was taking a short time out, which it shouldn't. Then 8 would still be my best guess. Why? Why is 8 hours the best guess for how long is the deep open? If I had to guess between 6, 8, and 10, why do you think I would guess 8 hours? Yeah, Naveen says, well, generally, in most places around the world, 8 hours is a work day. It's normal working hours. Yeah, so what I'm trying to show you with that question, students, is, again, this really important strategy. And you have to practice this at home when you're getting ready for IELTS, that if you miss an answer, okay, it's very hard to catch every answer from the 40 questions. Don't panic. Don't freak out. Remember, there are two very useful skills and tools that will help you to identify the correct answer. One is information from other questions, and the other one is your logic, okay? Now, you might not necessarily use that during the listening, and in fact, that could be dangerous because you'll miss the other questions. But don't forget you have 10 minutes at the end to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. So that's especially when you can apply this strategy, okay? So just keep that in mind. So apply this strategy in the 10-minute transfer time. 10 minutes is a lot of time to transfer 40 answers to the answer sheet. So you need to use that time wisely. Okay. All right, let's go back to question 9 here. So question 9, which 3 options are customers given upon returning an item having purchased the warranty? Okay, so this is one question, and you have to choose 3 of the answers here. Now, Arcana, to go back to your previous question here, if you get one of them wrong, then the whole question's wrong. So you have to get all 3 of them correct here. Charan says the answers are A, D, and E. Yvonne says B, C, and D. We have A, F, and or D, F, and A. Okay, A makes sense, right? Most stores do that. All right? Most stores will exchange for a different item. If you say, hey, I bought this, it doesn't work, I want to trade it. Most stores will say, no problem, because the manufacturer takes the hit anyway, right? So most stores will do that. 100% store credit, yeah, many stores will do that, but in this case, that's not correct. Cash back, that's very common, right? Most stores. So again, that's a good guess. Okay, so these 2 you can kind of figure out, again, using logic, even if you missed it. This was the only unique one, but they say it, I think, 2 or 3 times, okay, in the audio. Even the man says, wow, 110% store credit is too good to be true. And the woman says, well, we don't like to lose customers or have them angry because they have to come back. So the correct answers were A, D, and E, okay? So cash back, 110% store credit, or exchange for a new item. So the correct answers were A, D, E. The order doesn't matter. You can write that in any order for number 9 in your answer sheet. Okay. But it has to be A, D, and E. If any one of those are wrong, then it's wrong. Okay, so it has to be A, D, and E. All right. So again, logic could really help you there. And you do have to catch information when it's repeated several times. 110% store credit. Wow, really? 110% store credit? That sounds too good to be true. So You have to catch that, especially in part 1. All right. Number 10. Choose the correct letter, A, B, or C. It's a multiple choice. The woman mentions an item that costs £20. What is the item? It's the computer monitor. That's ridiculous. There's no computer monitor today that costs £20 in a store. The extended warranty, manufacturer's warranty. Well, manufacturer's warranty is probably not, so it has to be B. Okay? Why is it not C? So here, logic, even if I miss this one, will help me to solve this. Why is it not a manufacturer's warranty? So why does logic tells me computer monitor is impossible because £20 is too cheap. And logic also tells me that it's probably not. Yeah, Danny from Japan says, well, because that's usually included, right? The manufacturer has to include the warranty. So manufacturer's warranty is included when you buy it. So it's free, shouldn't cost you money. Computer monitors don't cost £20, so it has to be the extended warranty, right? All right. So, or potentially, Luthfi, there might not be a manufacturer's warranty. These days, that's not common. I've never really seen it, but it's possible. Okay, students, keep this in mind. Logic is your friend. Do the best you can. Here we go with section number 2. Okay. Again, I'm going to play the audio. Students, remember, write your answers on the paper, not in the chat. Don't confuse other students with wrong or right answers. Give them a fair chance to answer on their own. Here we go with section 2. Again, coming from our website at aehelp.com.
Battery 70%.
Take some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening section 2. You will hear a recording of a radio news magazine discussing the importance of doing good in the community. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
Hello, I'm Emma Robertson, and I'd like to welcome our listeners to Beyond the Lens, the programme that aims to dig deeper on issues in culture and society. Today we have Professor Hudson McMahon from the University of Bristol's Department of Social Policy. Hello, Professor McMahon. Do you want to tell us a little about what you'll be presenting today?
Of course, Emma. But first, I'd like to thank you for having me on the show. My wife and I are both avid listeners of Beyond the Lens, and it's a bit of a thrill to be on the show. But I digress. Today, I want to talk about the importance of doing good in the community and in society. There are many ways of doing this, but the two most common ways are volunteering and giving to charity. However, these methods of improving community and society have an important difference. While volunteering one's time is almost always a positive for society, giving to charity is significantly more problematic.
Problematic, Professor McMahon? It would seem to me that giving to charity is always a positive for society. We celebrate those among us who are the greatest donors to charity.
Yes, and in general, it is warranted. I do want to clarify. In general, giving to charity is good, but one must be very careful for two reasons. First, some charities do not do sufficient amounts of charitable good per pound. And second, some charities receive too much money that could be spent better on other causes. Let me discuss each of these in turn.
This seems to me a rather radical thesis.
It seems that way, but I hope to convince you otherwise by the end of the program. Now, getting back to charities. Some charities simply do not give a lot of their received monies to the actual performance of good acts. For instance, Some charities utilize less than 10% of their donations on actual charitable activities. The rest goes to salaries, promotion, and other overhead costs. So for a donation of £100, it may be the case that less than £10 actually goes to helping someone.
That sounds terrible, but it still helps people, right?
Well, yes, but as charitable givers, we should try and reward those charities who do most good with the least amount of money. By that, I mean that those thinking of donating to charity should do research on a charity before giving to the cause. There are other charities where more than 50% of donations go to the end cause. These charities are much more deserving of your patronage.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
Another reason to be discerning when it comes to your choice of charities is what I call the relative utility of a charitable donation.
Let me take a guess here, Professor McMahon. Is the relative utility of a donation how much good it does relative to other donations?
That's just about it, Emma. The relative utility of a donation is how much good a donation does per amount spent. For instance, the disease MND, motor neuron disease, was in the news in recent years, and MND charities received a windfall of donations. This sounds all well and good, but there is a problem. Unlike, say, heart disease, MND does not affect very many people. While it would be wonderful to cure the disease, there are better allocations of our limited charity funds.
Wait, so you're saying it was bad for people to give to MND charities?
Not quite, only that it was suboptimal. Because there is limited supply of money given to charity each year, it is important that it is used at least somewhat optimally. And allocating overwhelming amounts of money to a disease that affects very low percentage of people is extremely suboptimal.
That's very interesting, Professor McMahon. So how can our listeners try and optimize their charitable gifts?
First of all, don't be caught up in viral social media campaigns. Instead, use such moments to remind yourself of the importance of giving to charity in general, and not just to niche causes with good promotion. And second, do your research. Before you donate, look up how much of a charity's donation go to the actual end goal. Additionally, look up how many people are affected by the charity's end cause. The more people there are affected, and the worse they are affected, the more likely you should be to donate to that cause. It is all about maximizing good in the world.
That certainly sounds like a noble goal, but if everyone donates...
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, students. So that is a typical section 2. It's an interview. That is between a British accent, the woman's accent, and a New Zealand accent, the man's accent, a Kiwi accent. Again, I can see some of you are a little bit perplexed and say that you didn't catch much of it. But here again, logic can help you quite a bit. Okay, let's go back and do this together. Here we go. Number 11. What is the name of the radio show? They say it twice. The woman says, "Welcome to," and the man says, "Before we get going, I want to say that my wife and I are avid listeners too." So they said it 2 times. Riomar, very good. Just make sure you have the capitals. Beyond the lens. The camera lens and beyond the lens, right? It's a very typical name. That's why it's used in this. So it's beyond the lens. This is a standard speed for the listening. So Lenny Prince, This is absolutely normal speed. They don't slow down. It's natural pace. So careful. If you find the speed fast, you have to practice your listening because this is the speed of IELTS. So name of the show is Beyond the Lens. Okay? Must have that capital B and capital L because it's the name. So Yerbolot, Saruargov, make sure that you have the big B and the big L so you don't lose that. Not beyond lands, beyond the lens, Eunice. Okay? All right. So beyond the lens. Good. Let's keep going. Here, you had to listen carefully and figure out whether it applies to volunteering, applies to charitable giving, or applies to neither. What's the difference between volunteering and charity? When you volunteer, what do you give? Vicky, how do you boost your score from 6.5 to 7.5 in 1 week? It's very, very difficult to do, not impossible. Learn communication strategies. Danny from Japan says volunteering means giving help. Tina says giving work. Yeah, so it means giving personal time. That's right. So when you volunteer, you give your time or you give your work. Sorry, it's the same thing. You give your time and your work. B, applies to charitable giving. When you give to charity, then you donate money, right? Okay, so absolutely by understanding these two words, volunteer and charity, it's much easier to get a good band score for this listening. Affects few people, but maybe highly inefficient. A, B, or C? First one. Affects fewer people, but maybe highly inefficient. Inefficient means not efficient and affects fewer people. Apina, very good. It's C. It's neither of these two. Okay? Neither of them is highly inefficient and affects few people. Okay? They don't say that. So it's C. Applies to neither. Okay? 13. This was the most difficult one out of the four, by the way. Can be problematic for various reasons. Number 13, that was quite logical. All right. What's the answer to number 13? Applies to volunteering, applies to charitable giving. Can be problematic. Yeah, absolutely B. So when you give money to charity, there can be problems with that. Okay, giving money is not like giving your time or your work. If you go and help children in the hospital, or you go and help elderly people clean their home, help them cook, that's quite certainly a positive almost all the time, all right? But charities can be problematic. That's what the man explains. Is almost always a positive action for society. Number 14. What is that? Okay. If you get number 13 correct, you should get number 14 correct. Albone, thank you. And others who are answering A, absolutely. If you go out tomorrow on Saturday and you pick up garbage around your community, excuse me, I must be saying the truth. If you go pick up garbage around your community, I'm sure everybody will be happy for that. Your neighborhood will look cleaner. It's going to be a positive action for society. Thank you, Danny, from Japan. Okay. All right. Subject to many overhead costs. Of course, if you understand the meaning of overhead cost, it's good. If you're a business person, learn this vocabulary. It means your expenses. like advertising, like insurance, okay, salary, furniture, etc., etc. Those are your overhead costs. Again, if you're a business student, you should learn the word overhead cost. Overhead cost applies to charitable giving. That's right, B. Because when you give to a charity, right, they take that money, they have to pay their employees, they have to buy pencils, paper, and they use that money. Okay, so B is the correct answer. So C, B, A, B. Okay. All right. Number 16, this is another example, Arcana, if you're still in class here, going back to your original question, it was a good one, where you have to get both of these correct to get number 16. So what are 2 reasons charities can be inefficient? What are 2 reasons? This was a fairly tricky question, but the man does say it quite clearly. So what are the 2 reasons? Must pay salaries. They give less than 10% of the money they receive to the end cause. The promotion of the charity, doing the most good with the least money. That doesn't make sense, so we can take that out. Some causes are not as important as others. All right, so first person to get that correct, I believe, is Som Aya. Let me just see. Maybe somebody else got it. But students, you'll notice that the most popular answers are B and E. Eunice, there you go. Eunice Emery is the first one to answer that correctly. It's B and E. So the audio says that some charities, less than 10% of the money goes to the actual goal of what's happening. A lot of the charities for Africa, for example, people donate a lot of money in the US or in Canada, and they'll donate $100, and then the poor family in Africa will only get $10 because $90 will get consumed by the salaries and advertising. Giving money for hungry children in Africa, some of those ads on TV in Canada and US take primetime spots. Those are $1 million ads. Just imagine how much charity they need to pay for those primetime advertising spots. So, yeah, so they give less than 10%. And then E, the man explains that some causes are not as important as others, and so money is being wasted. This one looks like it could be correct, and this one looks like it could be correct, but they're not. Okay? Just because the charity has to pay for advertising, or just because they have to pay the salary, doesn't mean that they're not efficient. So some charities pay their workers, pay for advertising, but they're still very efficient. They still get 50 or more % of the money to the end goal. Okay? So B and E are the best answers. Quite a tricky question. If you got it, give yourself a good old pat on the back. Good job. All right, that was a tough one. Okay, this was a flow chart. So number 16 was tough, and I think the IELTS people felt that, hey, okay, guys, let's slow down a little bit. Number 16 was a tough one. Let's give a little bit of an easier question here for 17, 18, 19. It's a flow chart. Now, all you had to realize was that this is many people, and this is few people. Okay, versus. So these are compared. Okay. So heart disease affects many people. Wood disease affects few people. Number 17. You just had to choose the correct answer. Okay. So number 17 is, it's not G, Albone, because cancer is the same as heart disease. Cancer affects many people. Okay, so cancer belongs there. Here it was MND, motor neural disease, right? So the correct answer here has to be F. Okay, MND. It's a disease that does not affect a lot of people. So heart disease, cancer, they're both here. Okay, this is F. All right, effects, and now I kind of gave that one to you, so you should definitely figure out that that's A, affects few people. If you're giving money for research on heart disease, cancer, it affects many people, you're using money well. If you're giving money to charities which affect very few people, like MND, then it may be what use of funds. So MD Tosef Ali correctly says that is an inefficient use of funds. Danny from Japan agrees. Make sure, MD Tosef, that in your answer sheet you put the letter, not the word, because if you put the word, you'll get it wrong, even though it seems correct. Okay? So B. So F-A-B are the correct answers there. All right, students, let's have a look at the last one, number 20. The speaker gives the answer for number 20 a couple of times, so hopefully you got that. Okay. Number 20, choose the correct letter A, B, or C. According to the guest, what is the main goal of charitable giving? Doing research, the importance of giving to good causes, maximizing good. What is the goal of giving to charity? The correct answer, he says, in the end, he emphasizes, that's his finishing point. He says, it's all about maximizing good in the world, right? So, C, the importance of giving to good causes, sure, but what if they're not actually doing good with the money? So that's why this one's wrong. If I give $1,000 to helping sick children in Africa, that's a good cause, so I'm giving to a good cause, right? Yes. But if only $10 goes to actually helping sick children in Africa because $990 goes to advertising, administration, paying for expensive lunches for the workers, then that's not very good, right? So even though it's a good cause, it's not a good use of money. So what the goal is to maximize the good, okay? Hopefully get 1,000 of 1,000 to that cause, okay? So that's the goal. All right. Okay, students, so that is section 1 and section 2. For section 1, section 2, if you're looking for a 7 or higher, you should have at least 15 correct. Okay, so what did you get? What's your band score so far out of 20 for those of you that did section 1 and section 2? So keep this in mind when you're practicing section 1 and section 2, that you should have about 15 from 20. So note, to get band 7 or higher in listening, you should reach a raw score of 15 out of 20 or more in section 1 and 2. Keep that in mind. Okay, so Rek, 16 out of 20, that's good, okay? Sandeep, 16, that's good. Political Hub, 9 out of 20, you have to practice, 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 okay? Eunice, 12 out of 20, yeah, it's 8. If you're dropping 8 in section 1 and 2, you have very little room left for section 3 and 4, and they only get harder, okay? So really focus, all right? You really have to try to get up into the 15. Apina, 15, good. Omar, Al-Najjar, close, okay? 14 out of 20, you're close, all right? Okay, so ideally you're getting at least 15 out of 20. Students, I am out of time for today, so we will have to do section 3 and section 4 next week. I'll make sure I'll schedule the first or second class. Tomorrow we're doing a members chat class, so I'll put it for Wednesday or Thursday of next week, all right? Again, to get this practice exam, to get the rest of this listening, and for lots more help with IELTS, you can also join us at aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. The aehelp.com website looks like this once you're in the My Student account. the homepage will look like this. And make sure to click this big red button and join us. Do yourself a favor, spend a couple dollars, save lots by getting high band scores and not spending hundreds of dollars on a second and third IELTS exam. If you're doing general IELTS, check us out here, gieltshelp.com. Click that red button with the green background. All right. That's it for me for today. Thank you for sticking with it, working hard. Hey, if you want to improve your listening, you got to listen, right? Good job to all of you who did that today. Fantastic. I tip my hat to you. You're very welcome. Don't mind RSP. You're welcome, Rekha. Always a pleasure to see you in class. Many thanks to all of you as well. Have a great night. Sweet dreams. If you're getting ready for bed, wake up energized tomorrow. Bye for now, everyone.